Hi there folks, welcome to Diecast Overhauling. I am Vic, your P.No Diecast's handyman, doing budget diecast builds and restorations. For today's project, I am going to attempt to create from scratch a German military vehicle that was used during the World War II. They call it as the Shwimmwagen. For this project, I am going to use several diecasts and plastic models on my stash. These models are considered junk and with little value in my collection, so I am going to make use of them in creating diecast I wish to have but I cannot afford to buy them. I will take some of their parts and grafted it to my main diecast model that will serve as my foundation for this build. I picked this Jeep Hurricane concept diecast model made by Matchbox to be the main structure of this build because I think it has the details that I am looking for to replicate the Shwimmwagen. I took the hood from a cheap plastic military Jeep model that is made in China, and I will try to trim it down to right dimension to fit into my main diecast model for this project. I likewise cut the rear portion of this Hot Wheels model for the rear part of this Shwimmwagen project. I have looked for other diecast in my bins with round rear end, and this diecast has the best contours that will fit perfectly for this build. I removed the windshield from the hood I took from the military Jeep because I feel it is not proportioned to the look that I am trying to achieve. However, I am pleased with the initial mock-up of front and rear end of this project, as you can see from the side and above views. I glued the rear undercover, which I took from another cheap diecast, then I removed the interior part. Using remaining part of the plastic military Jeep, I cut the roof part and file it into half-circle shape for the hood extension to serve as the spare tire mount. For the front undercover, I cut a section from discarded stove lighter. Using epoxy, I bonded together and glued it in front of the diecast model for this project. I also made holes on both sides for the wheel shaft. I will let it dry for a few hours to cure, and do the sanding for all the excess portion that will obstruct other parts during assembly. The body of Matchbox Jeep Hurricane concept is perfect for this Shwimmwagen build. However, it lacks some part, like the step board on both sides, just what the Shwimmwagen has, so by using scrap thin plastic strips, I cut the right length and glued it on both sides and did some filings. Since this project is an amphibious car, I will be using some parts of busted disposable lighter to create the swinging propeller assembly of the Shwimmwagen. As you can see, I took the ring light part of the lighter that adjusts the flame. I will use it as the propeller side cover, while the part that open and close the gas of the lighter will serve as the hinges for the propeller assembly. For the propeller, I took a steering wheel from junk diecast and made 3 triangular cuts to mimic a boat propeller. I tear off the windshield of this Jeep diecast model that is made in China. The shape, size, and proportion of the windshield of this model is just right. It is what we need for this build. Unfortunately, I am struggling to fit it to my project. I will explain to you how I made some of the details of this build. For the muffler, I removed the shaft from this rivet and cut the head. Then, using a strand of an aluminum cable, I cut the right length, then inserted it to the shaft and create small bend on both ends. This is the front undercover of my project. I cut a section from this discarded stove lighter and grafted it to the diecast frame. This is the hood with spare tire and windshield from a cheap models. The hinges for propeller assembly from disposable lighter. This is the interior of my Shwimmwagen project. The floor came from old CD case. I took the corrugated part. The seats, gear shifter, including for wheels, came from plastic models. Those are the parts that I created. Now I will do the initial assembly prior to painting. Introducing my semi-complete German Shwimmwagen. For accessories, I made a paddle out of plastic toothpick by rounding a certain part for the handle, then shaping the flat side. This is the painted paddle and shovel, ready for mounting in my Shwimmwagen. These are my newly painted wheels. Fresh modified chassis. I also glued some small sets of tubing to mimic the front suspension assembly. I again used rivets shaft for both wheel assembly. The interior, which I painted some details with black paint. I already installed the swinging propeller assembly. I can now move it upward and downward. The disposable letter hinges did it nicely. I also installed round bar across the interior and front bumper that is made of strand from aluminum cable. This is the spare tire mounted on top of the hood. It has an off-the-center hole. I will now put the parts together to see if I am successful in imitating the German Shwimmwagen. Here it is, my 1/64 die-cast version of German Shwimmwagen with paddle and shovel, also a movable propeller assembly. If you enjoyed this budget build, kindly hit the like button and notification bell for more videos. Likewise, make comments to improve this channel. Always remember, if you cannot buy them, build them. See you on the next project. Thanks for watching.